Welcome back to the Secret Underground Lair. So today we're going to take our 4 door frames that we now have all assembled and put some edge banding on the inside edge. Put edge banding around the outside edge. But before I do that, I just want to cut them down to size because they are, well, let's look over here for example. They're just a little tall, and they're a little bit tall because of this banding that we put in here on both the top and bottom. So we just do a little bit of, we'll call it a haircut. Give each of these doors a little haircut, and then put some banding around them. And some kind of cleanup on them too. Now the banding that's going to go on the inside, it's like this edge here, is for the most of it, in fact 2/3 of it, is going to be cut away when we put on the caning on the, which will be affixed from the inside part of the door. However, I don't want to have a plywood exposed edge here and try to put some banding on just that little 1/4 inch piece. That's going to be a little bit difficult to do. So I thought, well, I'll cut some banding. And I did this. I cut this out of some maple stock that's left over from doing our top. So I have a bunch of this now. And we'll do all that around the inside edge, and then that'll be cut away when we do the routing for the caning. So that is our adventure for today. So I'm trying to get these doors to fit exactly right, and took great care to make sure that these are square 90 degrees and stuff, but I'm not that good, so everything's out just a little wee bit. Just, smidge here, smidge there. So when I trim this to fit, I'm gonna have to take about 1/8 of an inch more off the bottom of the door on this side than this side. So that's gonna be kind of a tapered cut. That'll make it fit this angle here. And when I get to the top, I should be able to take just a little bit off, but I think I'm also going to wind up making a little bit of a tapered cut at the top as well. So each of these doors are going to be hand fit, fundamentally, just to account for me being human and not getting everything exactly square. I'm really close, and to the eye, you'll never be able to tell. But when you fit pieces together like this that have to come together and will have a gap of a nominal size, that gap is going to be different if it's not addressed now. So take care of all that stuff. And I'm just going to do one cut at a time until I get this one door fitting perfect, and then I'll work on the next door. So a little bit of fiddly stuff today. All right, I've marked that line. I'm going to go cut this on the saw. Okay, so as it turns out, this is almost a freehand. Well, I was thinking it might have to be a freehand cut, but my miter is set up to handle that perfectly. So something went out of square here. Not the end of the world. That's why I can make these little adjusting cuts. So we'll go ahead and make this one. I'll probably make this in a couple passes just to be sure that I ease up onto this line. I don't want to take too much off at once. So again, this is part of this whole custom fit thing, is a little bit at a time. That's a barely anything cut, but let's go see how that fits. It's sitting pretty nicely on the floor of the cabinet. Yeah, we'll take 1/8 of an inch off the top. Now, the other thing I need to be mindful of is that we're also putting some more banding on here, so I can take a little bit more than what comes to the eye. So it's a little, like I say, this is becoming an art form, getting this exactly right. So I'm going to take just a little bit off the top here. And I just ran a line down there just for reference, just to help me make sure I'm not weaving all over the place with the saw. So that's about 1/16 of an inch off that edge. So this is the door we just cut, and it's just kind of wedged in. This is the door that's beside it, and it hasn't been cut yet, but I wanted to make sure that that's there so I can see this gap that we've got here. That gap is good. I'm happy with that gap. I may not take anything off these faces just because that's the gap that I want. There'll be a little bit away from the edge here, a little bit away from the edge here. That'll bring that gap into about 1/8 of an inch or so. What I'm looking at right now is how the fit is up here. And we are just about touching there, and we're a little bit, maybe 1/16 here, a little less than 1/16. And on the bottom edge, I'm quite happy with how that's working all the way along here. The bottom facing that I've got is a little bit thicker right in that spot. So what I want to do here is take 1/8 of an inch off that edge, and I want to take another 1/8 of an inch off this edge, and then I'll have that one fitting the way that I want. So 2 more cuts with that door, and we should be okay. And with those 2 cuts made, we've got the gap just that I'm after there. So this is sitting on the floor. If I raise that up, if I raise that up to where I want it to be, we'll have exactly the right gap. Now there's also, keep in mind there's some edge banding to go around this door, so that's going to take up a little bit of that room. It'll be 1/16 inch total on both sides. So happy with this door. Now let's move on to this one. And there's our 2 doors fitting just perfectly. Really, really happy with that result. So we'll move on to these doors now. Should note here, did put them in reverse order, so I have door 1 and door 2. It should have been door 1, door 2, but that's okay. You know, I can live with that. We'll come down here to doors 3 and 4. So I have the 4 doors placed, and pretty happy with them in general. But I think that this side here, I just want to take, man, it's close. But I'm thinking I just want to take just a smidgen off there. Like we're talking a 30-second. It's hardly worth it, but it's just one of those things where this gap is going to be small, and when you have these 2 doors right side by side, any difference is going to show up. So I'm going to just take a little wee bit off that edge. I'll probably taper it a little bit to bring it over here. But that's pretty close. 1 more cut should do it. All right, that's our final fit of the doors. I'm happy with that. Now we're going to work on this inside edge banding. So a little bit of cutting and fiddling to do there, and these pieces have to be glued and clamped in place. I can't staple them obviously because we're going to cut them out with a router. and they're not self-adhesive, so yeah, it's a little bit more challenging, but it'll be good in the end. So to cut this edge banding, I'm simply laying a strip in like so, then just use a pencil and mark the edge of it. And I'm now using my flush trim cut saw just to cut that off to length, roughly. And then I'm using the benchtop belt sander to get that final fit. So this is just a smidgen long. This is okay because I want that belt sander to give me the final fit. So I'll just go trim this up a little bit. Not quite enough. Perfect fit. So that's two of the pieces in. Well, cut. I'll just do these two guys. Should give us what we need. That's perfect. Okay. So there's our 4 pieces now cut. I'll glue those in. Of course, they're a little proud, so we're going to trim that off, of course, with the flush trim saw. Then we'll get the edge banding on, trim that off, and sand everything. And then we're ready to make some router cuts, but we'll do that when all this stuff is in place. So let me get this glued in and clamped on. By the way, it's turning winter here in the shop, and you know, trying to keep things warm as best I can. The glue, you know, I don't want the glue to be freezing, so I turn the heat down in the shop overnight, and in fact I turn the heat off. But to keep the glue from freezing, I have a heated glue drawer. Let me just show you what that is. So this is my heated glue drawer. Insulated, and I have glues and varnishes and whatnot in here. And the way that it's kept warm, as you can see down in the bottom there, I have a blanket. That's a pet blanket. So I can adjust the temperature. I can keep it a little bit warmer or cooler. I keep it at 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And that just kind of keeps the glue and everything else, my fillers, all that stuff from freezing when I turn the heat off in the shop. So I have glue at a workable temperature thanks to that little heated box. That's worked out really well. Okay, I am happy with that. So I've got 3 more doors to do, but I won't bore you with the details of clamping this up, but you can see what I'm doing and what the overall effect will be. So shortage of clamps, it's going to take a little while to get through all these, so I will I'll do all that off camera, come back when we're ready to apply the exterior banding, and yeah, we'll go from there. So there's doors 1 and 2 glued up, and the glue's still a little bit wet, but I can take the clamps off them. So that's how they look. I'm kind of pleased with that. We'll trim, of course, we're going to trim this little edge off here that's a little proud, so that gets all trimmed off. It'll be flush. And then a 1/4 inch dado will go on the other side, or rabbet actually. Sorry, 1/2 inch rabbet will go on the other side to accommodate the rattan that we're going to put in there. That I was hoping it would arrive today. It looks like it's going to arrive tomorrow. Got the other 2 doors clamped there and there. Gonna let the glue dry on that. And then gonna go look for some hinges today. So I'm not happy with the hinges that I had originally thought of using. Thought of using kind of just traditional hinges, but the look that we're going for here, we're actually going to put in some hidden hinges. Again, soft close probably. So we'll get some of those hinges first before we go for farther. So I think that's going to be a video for today. I was hoping to get a little bit farther, get the edge banding on, but that's probably not going to happen. Let's take a look with this door in place. But that's kind of the look. Yeah, it gets better all the time. So, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.